Good evening, folks. Today we sorted out a couple steers from the mob. We just went out in the pasture and built a lane here and brought them back to their own paddock. They're on about 12 acres here. We've got a processing date set for these two on Saturday. So as we moved them, we're going 1.5 miles through this farm. We didn't want to have to build a lane 1.5 miles long. And so we came out here and just sorted them out. So Saturday, this actually hooks onto our corral. And we can take these boys and take them right over to this gate by that birdhouse right there and walk them right up to our handling facility and load them. So, but we gave them a huge area here. They're not going to go hungry. There's lots of clover in here, orchard grass, of course fescue, bluegrass. The timothy, just starting to see little bits of timothy come up. There's red clover and white clover both, and bird's foot trefoil in this particular paddock. So they've got a menagerie of stuff in here. And this steer on the right, the white face, he's got a little bit more winter hair coat on his sides yet, but boy, he's got a bud. And they're a little bit unsettled because we take them out of the cow mob where they've spent their whole life. And both these steers are about 22 months old. They're not quite 24. But I'll get up here closer. We'll get a view of them here in a minute. A more close up. The solid red steer, he's a frame score bigger than the other white face steer. So he's probably a 3 frame. That other one in the front, he would be a 2 frame. They're bound and determined to stay away. Go the opposite direction wherever I go. This is one of our new ponds that we built. You can see it doesn't have any water catchment at all. It was an old frog pond, and we dug it out, and it's going to take a pretty good rain to fill this one up. It's got more water in it than it did last year. Maybe another year or so we'll have 7-8 foot of water in there. Got the bluegill and the channel cat are in there, and we'll put the bass in there this summer. They're going to grazing now. When we first put them in here, they were running around this paddock. They were bawling. I'm like, guys, don't run all your weight off. And now they're starting to settle down a little bit. This is where we had the bulls, this paddock right here, this spring. They chewed it up. It was wet in here. But you know what? As bad as they chewed it up, it doesn't look too bad right now. Still a little bit rough to walk on, but look what came back. I think there's some clover in here, folks. I was trying to get close enough where you can see the brisket on this steer on the left. He's filled in. Let me just zoom in on him, see how that works. Brisket's filled in, the tail head's got pretty good cover on it. When that steer walks away from me, it looks like his britches are full. I mean, if he eats another bite, his britches are gonna bust. The steer on the right, he's good too. He's gonna outweigh the steer on the left by probably 50 pounds. He's got a big old thick neck on him. Just a wonderful animal. You see the brisket between his legs. I mean, it's just a wonderful animal. Very docile. He's gonna come up here and check me out. Hey, how you doing, buddy? We love our animals. But you know what? If you love your animals, you love this life, and you love, the regenerative nature of this, you also have to eat these animals. And I just told you, earlier on, the mother of these steers has another one on them already, and they're going to be bred back in July. And so it's every year they're cranking out more more babies. And it's all that meat that you're looking at walking away from us. Isn't that a beautiful horizon there? All that meat was grown with this. No corn, no soybeans, just grass and clovers and maybe some tree leaves, a little bit of hay in the wintertime. I mean, this is beautiful. We tore this up pretty good. It doesn't look like it now. Look at that. Wow. Whew, this is going to be special here. It's already special, but it's going to get thicker. And it's going to get taller. It's already up to my shin. It'll be knee high here in another 2 weeks. We're supposed to get 4 days of rain. 4 days of rain in a row. And when we get that, this pasture is absolutely going to get with it. Those bulls of steers, they're still looking for that cow mob. We'd really like to have a cow just to be a little more secure around here. I know. You all need to settle down and go to eating. They've got a salad bar in here. Everywhere they go, there's food. One of the things we noticed as we put in the paddocks a while ago is the wild turkeys are really turning this hay that we unrolled. Here's probably one of the thickest areas. It actually was thick enough that it, flooded out the grass right here, but the turkeys are turning that. And I would say by fall, you're not going to see that hay. It's going to be completely dissolved into the soil. Compliments of the turkeys spreading that out. Yeah, they're right up there in that corner. Just as close as they can get to those cows. But there's a pretty good fence up there. On the right hand side, that's an old sheep fence. It's got 4 high tensile wires on it. We're not going to go through that one. Then on this side, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, how many we have over here? 3. We got 3 high tensile wires on this one, plus an offset keeping them off these trees. We planted about, I don't know, 150 trees down through here, all the way from, here's some little maples that we planted. You can see they're starting to make a growth. Those little things were about 6 inches long when we put them in the ground. And then we've got, well, right here's a persimmon. I'm sorry, mulberry. And we've got pecan. We've got some hazelnut. There's a few little oak trees in here. There are some persimmon trees. There's persimmon right there. I like persimmons. Wildlife likes persimmons. What we tried to do, folks, is plant any tree in here that would put out a fruit for something to eat. Whether it's a human or an animal. I'm going to plant something, I want it to produce fruit. There's another persimmon. And, I'm sorry, that's mulberry. A lot of people hate mulberry trees. But boy, I tell you. See this big tree over there on the horizon? That great big one? That's all one tree. With a cedar, of course, in the middle of it. But that's all one mulberry tree. If you cut it down, it's probably 150 years old. That was the same mulberry tree I played on when I was 5 years old. So that's 55 years ago. It's still standing, it's still putting out fruit. It's still providing a lot of food for wildlife. We had pastured pigs in here with the cows. We used to run the Tamworth. The Tamworth would clean up all the mulberries. So there's a lot of mass crop on a mulberry tree. There's one of those persimmons we planted right there. And then we planted some bushes. I forgot the name of that one. But it's cranking along pretty good. Then we got our volunteer bushes. That's the autumnale that we coppice. We cut those back and let them resprout. And the cattle and the deer and the sheep like those. There's another one. But we put this wire about 2 foot from our perimeter fence. This single wire right here. If we didn't have that in there, the cattle would have ate all the leaves off of those maples, the mulberry, the persimmon. All these trees would have been nuked. So you gotta protect them long enough for the tree to get up to withstand grazing. Here is a pecan tree right here. Nice little pecan. Ooh, this mulberry here, that one's cranking. That may have some fruit on it here in another year. I put them fairly close, because I wanted also not only trees, but I wanted a shelter belt here to slow down the wind in the wintertime. Some of them died, and I've got some skips. There's one alive, a little guy. Just the whole menagerie of trees down through here. But yeah, so we're going to be taking in some grass-fed steers on Saturday, and we always go in and take a ribeye out of them. We don't use a USDA plant. We use just a local family-owned deal here about 5 miles from our house, and I can get a ribeye out of there, and I bring it home and grill it. And if that ribeye is really a good eating experience, well, then we cut it up according to the customer specs. If it's not a good eating, if it's a tough one, occasionally you'll get one that's tough. We'll grind that whole thing into hamburger, and they're always tender when you grind them into hamburger. So that's our protocol. I bring a ribeye home, make sure I cook it on the grill to medium rare. I sure don't want to overcook it. Then Jan and I sat down and we do a taste comparison, tenderness test. And we've had some pretty good table fare over the years. Boy, there's a beautiful, beautiful pecan tree. There are some walnuts in here too. We just mixed it all up. I put a little bit of everything in here. I like diversity, even in trees. I don't want one single species of tree, I want diversity. Boy, this is really good for the heart to come and see what came in. We had those, at that time we had 68 bulls. We're up to 78 now, but we had 68 in here for about 3 weeks this winter. Right after we took them out of the cows. That would have been in March. And we got rain. It rained for 3 weeks, almost every day. And just about ran out of dry places to put the bulls. And this place looked pretty chewed up. It sure doesn't look too bad right now. It's recovered very nicely. So with that, I'm going to sign off on a beautiful middle of May day. And hope you all new to the channel. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. And the rest of you, we may see some of you at our grading school coming up. And that's in September. Check out our website, greenpasturesfarm.net. It's going to be held right here on Green Pastures Farm. It's a 3-day. 2 of them. One the first of the month, and then the next one a week later. It's going to be some really good learning experience for folks to come out and see firsthand how we do things. And share our experiences, successes and failures, and just trying to help people grow and get back on the land. But I'm going to sign off with that, and everyone have a great day.